This video is going to show us how to use the iPad app for Origin. We start here viewing my actual iPad screen. So down at the bottom, the Origin app, we're going to click on that. That's going to bring us right into our location screen. You'll see here, I've got all on the left-hand side, all the different facilities and their locations. And then on the right-hand side, the different asset categories that we're going to be looking at today. Everything's green with a check mark, which means we've synced all of the data. Basically, that means that we've aligned the data in the iPad with the data that's in the database. What's really nice about the sync option is it allows you to work in an area where you might not have cell phone signal or Wi-Fi access. It allows you to still go through, perform the assessment, capture all the information that you need, and then save that final correlation to when you've gone back to a location where you have either Wi-Fi or cellular service. So from here, I'm going to select down at the bottom where it says assets, and then that's going to bring me into my asset list. Now, the first thing I want to take a look at is making some edits on the asset that we looked at the other day. That was a green bin. I have two options to do a search and bring up this particular asset. On the upper left-hand corner, you'll see a barcode option, which allows you to scan a barcode, or I could just enter in the value or name of that asset. I can start typing in the name, and you'll see it's selective filtering. So I type in GRA, and you'll see I bring up that green bin right there. I want to check that, bring that asset in. Now, very easy for me to go in and edit both the condition score as well as all the pertinent asset characteristics associated with this piece of equipment. So first things first, I want to change the score of this asset. Currently, it's rated 2 stars. I'm going to just scan over the different scores with my finger by moving this button right and left. And you'll see every time I get to a different condition score, it gives me a definition of what that condition score is. In this one, for this example, I'm going to change it to a score of 4 and then hit the submit button. So that locks in my score of 4. I'm sorry, I did not lock it in at 4. I locked it in at 3. So I'm going to leave it at 3 for this example. And then we go to the upper right-hand corner, and you'll see a box with a pencil in it. If I hit that, that allows me to edit the existing asset. So I'm just going to scroll down the list of asset characteristics on the right-hand side and make edits where appropriate. I can see in here the name is correct. Let's say that the barcode is correct. If it wasn't correct, I could hit that barcode screen, and you'll see it gives me an option to change it. If I hit the barcode button again on this, it'll bring up my camera, and you'll see very easy for me to go in. I could just scan a barcode right here. In this case, I'm going to say that the barcode is good, so I'm going to leave that alone. Model number, serial number looks good. Quantity's okay. Asset cost, 15,000 seems a little bit light. So we can go in, we can change that value right here. Quantities at 1 each. Install date 1980. Let's say that I look at the label and find out it was actually 74. So I'm going to go in and change that one real quick. I can add a description. This is going to be green bin 1 of 6. We've got our location hierarchy now. I can see I'm at the warehouse on the first floor, exterior of the facility. It looks like the right location here. Trade, I can go in and edit those if I wanted to. Let's see, this will be general maintenance. And then risk scores. I could go through and evaluate risk scores. I could look at redundancy. I do have redundancy in grain bins here, but to relocate the materials from one bin to another, I'm going to increase the risk to that a little bit. And then we'll see what the safety impact is here. So if this asset were to fail, major injury, I'm going to say probably more minor injury there. So I'm going through just validating all of my information in here. I look at it, I see that the information is good. Now I have an option. I can stop this, record all this information as is, and then I can either go into creating a duplicate asset, or I can end the work that I'm doing right now. Now, if I add a duplicate asset, what it does is it takes all the information that you have in the right-hand column here. It will automatically apply it to a new asset. It'll create a new asset, and you'll only have to go in and edit certain fields, such as the asset name, serial number, barcode number, just the few fields that are different between this grain bin and, let's say, grain bin number 2. But what's nice about this is it pre-populates the majority of the fields in there as a duplicate, and it saves a tremendous amount of time and energy going through and entering information, such as if it were a new asset from scratch. I'm not going to create a duplicate asset in this example. What I'm going to do is I'm going to end my edits, and then on the left-hand side, select Done. Now, once I've gotten out of editing this particular asset, I can create a new asset from scratch, which is what I'm going to do. Upper right-hand corner, you'll see New Asset. I hit that button, and it brings up basically a blank option to capture all the information that I need to for this new asset. Now, I'm actually going to capture my computer. I'm going to create an asset for my computer. So I take a first picture for that one. I'm going to use that photo. If I want to take another photo, and I typically try to get nameplate information, model number, serial number, as verification. Here it's going to be a little bit tough, but I've got it anyways. I'm going to capture it. So now I've got 2 photos in there for this particular asset. And now I want to go through and start gathering pertinent information. First things first, I want to give it a condition score. In this case, it's going to be a 4-star asset. Now, for a 4-star asset, I need to put a note in there and say, why am I rating it a 4-star asset? Now, what I can do is choose any of the previous template text wording. It's basically a cut and paste field. This is going to be the wording for description as to what a 4-star asset is. I'm comfortable with this verbiage, so I'm going to select that. You'll see it automatically populates it then in that description field. QR barcode, again, very quickly and easily. I could scan it with a camera, or I can manually enter QR code in here. And so I'm going to do that. And then add that item. So I'm done there. I'm going to add in an asset name. I'm going to call this Brian's laptop. Asset number, I'm just basically going to duplicate the barcode number for that one. Manufacturer is going to be Apple. Model number, this is a MacBook Air. Serial number, I can just enter in, whatever information I want to in there. Asset type, so now I'm going to do a search for asset type, and I'm going to try to find something that is a computer. Now, unfortunately, I didn't sync with all of my asset types in here. So I'm going to put a temporary asset type in here. Actually, I could leave it blank. And in fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave this one blank for now. And that way I'll be able to go back into the computer after the fact and add that. I'll show you how we do that in just a second. Funding source, quantity, we'll put a quantity in there of 1. Funding source, I'm going to leave blank right now. It's not pertinent. Asset cost will be calculated once I determine the right asset type. Install date, we'll say this was just a couple years old. Part produced, number of cycles, not appropriate for this particular asset type. We need to put it in a location. So I'm going to say this is a Grand Rapids manufacturing facility. It's going to be in a corporate office building on the 1st floor, and the room doesn't exist right now. So we're going to say that this one is actually going to be in the main office. So I'm going to type in and create a new room called main office, and you'll see it populates it there. But what's nice is I don't have to have that space pre-populated. Once I create this as a new location, it will automatically create that location in the database and allow us to use that for other assets in the future. Default risk ranking, all that information, I'm going to leave blank right now because once I select the asset type, the risk ranking will automatically go in there. Now at the bottom here, you'll see verification needed, no. I'm actually going to push yes on that because I know that I have one key piece of information that I am still missing, and I want this asset not to automatically go into an active asset category. I want to hold it in a temporary bucket for assets that need verification. That allows me to go back after the fact and find out what pieces of information are missing, and then add that information and then create an active asset. So I'm good with all the information that I've captured here in the asset. I'm going to hit the upper right-hand corner checkbox that will complete this asset. It does give me a warning that says some of the mandatory fields are missing. Do I want to save it as an incomplete asset and edit it later? Yes, that is exactly what I'm going to do. I do not want to create more assets right now. Instead, what I want to do is complete my assessment for today. I'm going to go back into the locations and sync. And then what it's doing now is it's actually sending all of the information from my from my iPad to the database that I can access on the laptop. So from here, now I'm going to switch over to my my laptop view. And you'll see here now I have, I'm viewing the assets on the desktop version of the app. Now what I'm going to do first is refresh my screen here. That's going to make sure that any new information that I've just synced is being brought in. And it is current and up to date. First things first, I want to look for that grain bin. So I'm going to start typing and looking at this. I can bring this up, and you will see now all of the changes that I've made in here, including the location or the cost of the asset, updates to the condition score are all current and up to date. Now, if I want to go back in and look at that other asset, I can go into my incomplete file, and you'll see here I've got that laptop. So I need to add a new asset type to this, which I didn't have available on my iPad because it didn't exist. I didn't use this type of asset before. I'm going to go in and edit this asset. You'll see all the information that we added before for this particular type of asset. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to search for computer on here. Oops. And then you'll see as I start typing it, it comes up as computers. So I've selected that as an asset type. The cost will be calculated once I save this asset. Everything is good in here. I'm going to deselect that verification needed button and go ahead and save this. However, I want to see what asset information is still missing. So I'm going to scroll back up. I've got cost in there. I don't see anything else missing in here, so it must just be that one particular costing that I'm waiting for it to calculate for me. So yes, I am going to go ahead and save that and update it. And now you'll see this asset has now been populated in my general assets category. And the end of useful life date has been calculated. Replacement cost has been calculated in here. Again, you can see that this asset cost is significantly higher than what a realistic cost would be in here. So I can go in at the desktop version and edit this as appropriate. It's not a $20,000 computer. We've got an extra zero in there. So we're just going to change that score or price and save it there. And now you'll see all the information is good and clean on the desktop version of the program. So any questions that you have for this process, again, feel free to reach out to myself or your sales rep, and we can follow up and answer any questions that you have.